for this job, guys, I have to just fix it, the little cupboard up. It used to be an old TV cabinet, and we're gonna convert it now to a little kitchenette, where they're gonna put their coffees, teas, cups and saucers and stuff inside for the office. The customer is not very serious about restoration, so he doesn't want me to spend too much money on it and fix it all the way, but we're gonna make it better. So first things first, I have to put a shelf in the top part, divide this, and then also in the bottom part divide that. The drawer is still fine, we'll go through that as we take apart. The one door is broken off the hinges, I have to fix that, and then I'm going to replace the hinges definitely, because these hinges are all bent and it's horrible hinges. So I'm going to replace the hinges. And my customer is not very worried about what type of wood I use to put in here. So I got by one of my lumber suppliers an offcut of birch, and I'm going to put that in here and in the bottom. So first things first, let me show you a few things that's wrong with this. So as I mentioned, I broke the one door off and there's some pieces missing, top and bottom, that I will somehow have to fix. I'm considering cutting a whole strip off here and replacing that. We'll see if I can get some Oregon pine here in my offcut bin. Then of course, there's on this side, there's a crack running all the way down there that we'll have to fix before we hang the doors. The other door is not in a good state itself, so they will definitely replace the hinges and see if we can fix that. But the major job is we're gonna put one shelf in here, center, and then also in the bottom in the center we're gonna put a shelf. I bought from one of my lumber suppliers, I bought a piece of birch presswood, which we're gonna use for the shelves. I'll just do some solid wood edging to make it look better. So that's the cupboard, guys. Let's see if we can fix this. So for a clean edge, guys, I must cut this to 650 millimeters, and then I'm going to get two pieces of 490 millimeters for the width that we need for the cupboard for the shelves. And so I'm set my blade now to 670 millimeters just to cut one clean edge. Then I put it to a final 650 to get the other edge nice and clean, and then we'll cut it on the shorts. Just to show you what a hard time this book cabinet has had, if you look at the gaps we've got everywhere, and there's not much I can do about this. I can't remove this and sand the whole thing flush, and that's why I'm gonna put my cleats on to hold the shelf. And the gaps, this poor cabinet had a hard life. Both sides, the one side is not so bad, and even the top is horribly out of shape, and that's what the poor top looks like. It is all distorted and not straight anymore, but there's not much we can do about that. That will be a rusty cupboard. So I've cut myself some 35mm cleats out of the same stock. Just angled the front of the cleat by 25mm, drilled and countersunk the screw holes, and I'm going to screw it down with 30mm screws. I'm gonna put glue on for what it's worth, because the glue is only as strong as the first layer of the laminate is. But for what it's worth, I'm gonna put glue, screw it, cut myself a little spacer stick, make sure all my cleats is on the same height, and let's screw them and get them in. So how many of you noticed my mistake? When I drilled the 4 cleats, I put the countersinks on all the same sides. So just to fix that, I'm just going to countersink the other side as well quickly. It's not the first time and it's not the last time I've done that. Funny, ne? So guys, the 2 shelves is in. But then I noticed a little problem. This side I'm almost flush. This side I'm short. And I thought I'll show you, because if I just tell you, you'll think I'm lying to you. I measure flush on the back there to the front. We measure 48.9 on this side of the cupboard. If you move around to the other side of the cupboard, up against the side there, this side, we measure 49.8. So there's a whole 9 millimeters difference from this side panel to the other side panel. So I'll have to cut this at an angle, the fronts, before I can edge it. I'm going to leave that for tonight. I just want to glue up the doors and see if I can get that sorted so it can dry, so that we can finish this project tomorrow. So this crack in the side panel here is right through. I hope you can see that. And what I've done now is I wedged it open with a screwdriver. And I'm just going to put a bunch of glue in there as much as possible and as deep as possible. And then I'm going to clamp it. See if we can save this panel without taking the whole cupboard apart. I do is I only feed glue from one side. So once I clamp it, I want to squeeze out on the other side. Then I've got enough glue in there. So the old hinge holes was very close to the edge, to the inside edge. And the new hinges I got, we're going to put them closer to the center, so we can put thicker and bigger screws in, but the old holes we won't be using. So my plan for fixing that is just by taking a simple toothpick and glue it in the holes as much as possible, break them off, and then we'll sand them nice and flush, and then the old hinge holes will be gone. and fold. We don't need it. And the bottom hinge cracked open the wood, so I've put some glue in there, and I'm just gonna keep it closed just to keep it nice and tight until the glue is dry. So the one door has got a crack in it that I can glue, and the rest is intact. So this door is an easy fix. But this one with the parts missing, the customer found one piece and I glued it back. But this is too big, the safest way I think of doing it. And if you think differently, please guys comment and tell me how you would have fixed it. I just cut myself a piece of Oregon pine that I got here in the workshop, and I'm gonna chop this much off the door and then glue a new piece onto it and then stain it to the same color. So I'm gonna quickly remove the hardware on the door, chop this much off and glue a fresh piece on. Then we have something solid to put the hinges to. So that's the two top doors now in the clamps, and I will let them lie now until tomorrow. So this is the one we replaced a piece on the edge, and this one is just we glued a crack. And you must remember I can't over clamp this now because this is still a loose panel in the middle, so it just squeezes the whole thing in. So I just lightly clamped it to make sure I get glue screws out everywhere. Let's take off the two bottom doors and see what surprises they hold for us. So luckily the bottom doors didn't have too many surprises. But if you remember correctly, I told you that the one panel is narrower than the other panel. So what I've done is I've put some Oregon pine, the same wood as this, on the edge of the shelf. Now I'm just gonna flip it over, making sure I keep the sides the same. Push it to the back. Make sure the back is not pushed anywhere. As you can see, that's my hangover. This side I'm almost flush. So I'm gonna make a mark this side and this side, and then cut skew to make sure that I end up flush. So guys, to show you the problem I have with the doors is, I don't know if you can see where the old hinges was fitted. It's on the edge of the board, because the doors are actually made smaller to be on the same plane as the drawer. So that works out to exactly 8 millimeters that I've got to fit my hinge. Now if I fit my hinge on that again, I can guarantee it won't last. And the first time somebody is a bit rough with it, it's gonna break again. So my plan for solving the problem is I'm gonna take a 10 millimeter piece of same wood Oregon pine and put an addition onto the insides right through this side and the other side to give me more meat here to actually screw in the hinges. So I'm quickly gonna cut a bunch of the Oregon pine, add it to this, both sides and on the bottom, just to give me some more space to put the hinges on. It's not ideal, but that's unfortunately what we are stuck with. I'm not going to change the doors, rebuild the doors. The customer don't want to spend that much money, so I'm just going to modify this to work. Guys, that was the idea what I've got. We widened the frame to accommodate the hinges, and now the little clips work again to hold the doors. I just sanded this a little bit so that I can match the colors with the new wood to the old wood. So this is basically the top of it is now done, and still staining, varnishing and sanding left. let's start with the bottom. So guys, that's now all the doors fitted again, top and bottom. All the little clips work. And I just gave it a light sand with 180 grit all over, just to give the new varnish something to grip on. So I'm going to dust this whole thing down now and give it a coat of varnish, leave it for the night. Tomorrow give it a quick flat, give it a second coat, and she's done. Hi guys, so I've got the first coat of varnish on, it's nice and dry now. There's still a few dull spots that I'll have to touch up. I'm going to give it a quick flat with some steel wool and then just give it a final coat of varnish. The varnish I use is normal Wood Dog 10 and it's a velvet finish, so it's not too glossy. And I like it, it came out quite nicely. I just want to show you the piece that I added to the door. I cut the piece off and added it. It was much lighter than the original wood, and I had to stain it just to match the color a little bit, and I don't think it came out too bad. And this is a very good example to show you that don't always look at what's on the tin. This color I matched with medium oak. I did a few test pieces and the original Oregon pine actually came out very orange on it, so it was not even close. I tested different colors and the medium oak came out actually the best. So don't always stop at the name on the tin. Do a few test pieces and make sure. I'm quickly going to sand it now with some steel wool, give it a second coat, and this project is done. So guys, that's now the second coat done. I just wanted to show you a close-up of what the matchup looked like where I added the piece of wood. Really not too bad. So it's a bit glossy at the moment. It will dry to a bit more of a satin color once we're done. So what the cupboard actually came for was the shelves on the inside that I added top and bottom, as you can see there. And then also I also added a shelf in the bottom, and then of course just put new hinges on the doors, on all 4 doors. And then this door that was totally broken on the edge here, I just cut out, added a new piece, some fresh wood. And then, oh yeah, what we have also done is I added some strips on the inside to give me more space to make this hinges more solid on all 4 sides. I did that of course. So this job is now done. Now I have to start with another one.